Hello, this is Dane Cialino from the Loyola University New Orleans College of Law, and this is a brief video for lawyers and law students who are getting ready to argue their first case by webcam or video conference. In the wake of the COVID-19 crisis, courts all over the country and probably the world are switching from conducting live oral arguments, both at the appellate and trial level, to conducting oral arguments by teleconference or video conference. And it's a different experience. So what I'd like to do in this very brief video is to give you some tips on how to improve your advocacy by video conference. Now, some of these thoughts are my own. Some of them are gleaned from other postings on the internet, particularly, for example, the 10th Circuit, Federal 10th Circuit has some very useful tips, many of which I've included in this video. So this is just to get you thinking about the topic, to get you Googling around the internet, but this is certainly not the last word on how to do arguments by video conference well. Tip 1. Act naturally. Very easy to say. There's nothing natural about public speaking, and there's nothing natural about publicly speaking to a camera. But you need to try to do that. It is something that's easy for me to say, but more difficult to execute. Now, having said that, you are still using a public speaking voice rather than a natural conversational voice. Notice that the way that I'm articulating my words, I am talking a little bit more slowly than I probably would in real life, in real time. So this is not the way that I would naturally talk to my wife. Hello, Wendy, how are you doing? How is your day going? Is it fine? You see, so I'm telling you to act naturally, but you're going to have to use a public speaking voice. But it's a video public speaking voice, so keep that in mind. Eye contact. This is so important in real life public speaking. It's critically important to continue that when you're doing a web conference. Now, right now, I am staring right through the webcam on top of my computer. And I'm not really focused on the webcam. I'm focused a little bit beyond it. But that way, it looks to the judges that I am arguing directly to them. So don't look down at your notes. This is all very good advice, of course, generally for live oral arguments, but it's even more important here because if you're going to have any opportunity to connect personally with the decider, the judge or judges, you got to look them in the eye. So make every effort to do that. If you're looking down at the screen like that, or you're talking out of the window like that, it's just not going to be as persuasive as looking at the screen. Use a slightly more normal voice than a traditional public speaking voice. We've already gone over this a little bit, but you have to speak like you're speaking in court. This is more formal than simply sitting around your den watching, not a basketball game, but a replay of a basketball game. It is a public speaking effort, even though we're not in public and there are no people around here. It's just me, my video camera, and my isolation and quarantine. So again, public speaking voice, but make it a little bit more normal and mostly in this regard. You don't have to talk very loudly like you would if you were actually doing this in court, where you would try to project. In court, I don't want to rely upon the microphone. I want to project. Well, here you don't have to do that. So use a slightly more normal voice, but still use your public speaking voice. Avoid exaggerated gestures and movements. This is something that I've learned after doing literally hundreds of TV interviews. you tend, and watching myself and kind of looking at myself talking on TV saying, gosh, why am I doing that? When you're talking to someone in person, there's nothing, just kind of moving your head around and doing like that doesn't really look that unnatural. Just kind of moving your hands around doesn't look that unnatural. But when you're doing it on camera, it seems like your head is popping around more, like you're one of those bobbleheads. You don't want to be that. And also when you're gesturing, I mean, I'm covering the webcam, or look at this. I look like I have some giant hand. So gesturing is important. Gesturing helps you express yourself and talk better. So if you want to gesture, and you do, just don't exaggerate the gestures, and really try to tend to make them more minimal. So if you're going to make a point, make the point, keep the gestures close to your body rather than putting them close to the camera, because it looks awkward. Something to consider is stepping away. And I've stepped away a little bit, but that looks a little funny if the observers see more than about your navel up. That's what you want to show on the video camera. So again, keep the gestures to a minimum. Put your hand on the desk. Gesture every now and again, but keep the gestures close to your body rather than close to the camera, so they don't look exaggerated. And don't move. Again, it's even more important not to shift your weight or kind of dance around. When you do that live at a podium, it doesn't look very persuasive. When you do it on a video conference, it is all the more exaggerated. So notice what I'm doing. I'm standing and keeping my feet still as I do this. Dress for the video camera. What is the best thing to wear? Well, let's talk about what to avoid. Don't wear white or striped shirts. Prefer solid blue. Notice this is my standard video conference video recording shirt. It's a light blue Oxford shirt, and it presents well on camera. I've got a tie with not little pins, tiny pinstripes or little dots of a pattern. It's got very broad stripes. Why have I chosen this? And why do I wear it for every recorded class and every recorded conference? Because it avoids this look where you're moving. And that's what happens if you've got tight patterns on or stripes. It appears on camera that you've got something moving around you. So avoid white shirts, striped shirts, prefer solid blue. And as far as a suit, again, prefer one that's in a solid color. Avoid noise. If I've got my door closed right now, obviously find a quiet room. If you've got a dog, feed it and put it in a place where it's not going to be barking at the cat outside of the window. There's nothing less professional than a barking dog in the background of an important teleconference, particularly if it's an argument. So do something with your pets. Your cats don't care what you're doing, so you don't have to worry about them so much. But feed your dog, put the dog in a place where the dog is not going to make noise and disturb you. Obviously, you want to put on a professional appearance. Well, a few other things to think about. Get yourself some good equipment. Right now, I'm using about $100 Logitech web camera. Go to wirecutter.com, get the best camera you can get for your budget. This one is doing quite a good job. Think about lighting. Right now, I'm using natural lights from a window over here. You can see the light coming through the window, and another window right behind my camera. If I'm going to record at night when I don't have the benefit of natural light, I've got some LED lights that light up my both sides. So again, you want some good lighting. And then finally, you want a good microphone. Nothing sounds worse than a tinny microphone. I'm using, again, a Wirecutter recommended blue microphone, and right here. It is probably about $100. but it really has maybe more than that. But it's got really good audio, and I would very much recommend, if you're going to be doing a lot of video conferencing and a lot of arguments, that you get yourself a good a good microphone. And notice that it's out of sight, but it's right in front of me, and it does a good job picking up my voice. So those are my tips on remotely arguing your case by video conference. Remember, it's just an argument at one level, but you need to tune and adjust your performance for this new setting in which we apparently will be doing a good number of arguments going forward. Good luck.